stream again with the fixes.
Long, long ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Ihwe, far, far ihwe.
Dun, 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 dun.
Anyway.
Dun, 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 dun.
Well, it wouldn't be a World War Weeb podcast if Joss didn't make an oopsie. Oh, God.
Wow. Oopsie.
Well, anyone watching right now should feel honored because I decided to forego the risk of possibly getting a migraine today and actually do this podcast.
We kneel before you and kiss your feet, my liege.
Okay, now it's a little creepy.
Bruh.
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 Yeah.
Bruh.
Adrian.
Bruh.
Anyway, so welcome to World War Weeb, where we ask you just one question. Who's the cute new girl?
Oh, I'm Mary Sue.
Someone needs to die.
Bruh.
Well, alrighty then. I hope you all enjoyed that dramatic introduction to Mah Rey SUE.
Oh.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Leviosa.
If you can't tell, our topic today is Mary Sue's. And Mary Sue's in anime specifically.
I hate her with a passion.
So anyway, does everyone here actually know what a Mary Sue is?
Mikasa.
The Mikasa? I mean, kinda.
A Sukasa?
You're not wrong.
A casa es Mary Sue casa. Eh?
Anyway, so a Mary Sue, in short, is essentially usually like a self-insert character for the author, but it's pretty much someone who is just too perfect. So perfect that, in fact, if something goes wrong, the world around them will simply change and warp in order to make sure that they look good. That's the basic explanation. There are different kinds of Sues, and it's like, I had this really good explanation earlier today, and then I completely forgot it. So, that's all you're getting.
Excuse me? I thought I had muted my mic.
You thought you muted your mic?
I thought I had muted my mic for about 5 seconds. I'm embarrassed by that. Okay,
Oof.
moving on. Oof, indeed. That was the most unladylike thing that Boba has ever done. Okay.
Well, alrighty then.
Alrighty then, I shall make this in the announcements that we're live.
Yep, that's probably a good idea. Now that I've completely fungled that, whatever. I don't know anymore. I can't words. I've completely destroyed any ability to make words happen.
You cannot brain today.
I
You
cannot
pressed
brain. So, yeah, what... I guess we're gonna start with Mikasa because, I mean, we already said it, so... Let's do
It's
it!
a big lady, take a shot of Jaeger. Bum, bum, bum.
Okay, but I'm not opposed. I am not opposed to Mikasa being a Mary Sue, though. The same way that I am not opposed to Yugi Moto being a Mary Sue either.
So, here's the thing. I actually really like this series. I was gonna take a while to bring this up, but you kind of already brought up I don't have a problem with so-and-so being a Mary Sue. I think there's a difference between being OP and being a Mary Sue. Because, like, Nuxtaku has that series, OP Done Right. And he goes over people that, you know, they're definitely OP, but are they a Mary Sue? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and I think also Mary Sue has a connotation of also not only are they extremely skilled or fortunate or whatever in their field, but they also have that dislikable quality of also being morally right all the time.
Oh yeah,
So
and
it's
usually
not
they're.
even that there's
Sorry, go ahead.
so I think there's that along with it, and that is something that I don't think Mikasa has. I think that she has the OP, but not the piety, if that's the word to use.
Yeah, so like it's more than just like perfect fighting ability. It's perfect in every way. So like, people are gonna hate me, but Rey from Star Wars is a Mary Sue, whether you like it or
Yes.
not.
Yep.
But here's the thing. It's like, well, she's not a Mary Sue. She just and this is what Daisy Ridley said about her character. She just wants to help everyone. But that's the thing. If that's like her only driving feature, then her only driving feature is like a character trait that just makes her more perfect. You know?
Yeah,
Whereas
her
Mikasa
flaws
has
are
this
that she works too hard and cares too much.
right, and Mikasa is like super obsessed with Eren, and not just obsessed with Eren, but like to a fault. Like, fuck you, Eren is
Yeah.
more important, and she will
Well, and
abandon her post
yeah.
and screw things up to a degree because of that character trait for her. So that's actually depth that Mary Sues don't have. Mary Sues don't have depth, because also that actually
Oh my
brings
gosh! Does that mean Mikasa is a fellow yandere?
Actually, didn't we talk about that during Yandere Parade?
I don't know. Did we?
I think we did. Also, I'm
Wow.
gonna put something in a podcast chat for y'all to look at, because it's TV tropes, Mary Sue tropes. I think it's really really fun. Like anti-Sue is the Mary Sue that, well, she's ugly, she can't be a Mary Sue, but everything else about her is perfect. She can't be a Sue. But anyway, yeah. So back to Mikasa. Yeah, I think if we make that a part of the definition of Mary Sue, like not just perfect in ability, but perfect in morality.
In personality.
Well, in
It
personality,
rhymes.
because maybe not morality, because what if they're the villain Mary Sue? What if they're the bad guy Mary Sue? They're perfectly evil in all ways, I'd say. You know what I mean?
That sounds awesome.
It does sound awesome, and usually is awesome, but there's a wrong way to do it, I'm sure. I just haven't seen it done, now that I think about it.
So albedo.
Albedo?
Albedo.
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 I don't know who Albedo is.
Albedo is a character from Overlord, and she is.
Oh, I still haven't seen
actually-
that.
So in Overlord, basically the antagonists are the protagonists of the series.
That much I know.
So Albedo is this yandere succubus that is
Mhm.
obsessed with the main character. But other than that, she does everything perfectly.
Okay, so she's like the love interest Mary Sue.
Possibly. But I think that the main character is actually more afraid of her than he actually likes her.
Hmm. But so there's basically only one thing. So she's an anti-Sue. Like, there's only one thing that makes her not a Mary Sue.
Right.
Huh. Okay.
See, and I would put Ash Ketchum in that category as well, because he wins, he succeeds on his first or second try every time.
Mhm.
He always makes friends. He always beats Team Rocket until it comes to a league championship, and then he always loses because he can't win. Because if he does, then he's arrived and his journey will be over.
Right.
And like that's I was gonna call it a limited purpose Mary Sue, but an anti-Sue, is that what you call them?
Yeah, anti-Sue, where they implement like one or two flaws, like so let's see, the ugly, clumsy, untalented, etc. but is still a Mary Sue by other means, such as being worshipped by everyone or always succeeding without fail.
Oh god, I just thought of
There's another character that
Kurokami
comes to
Madaka.
mind. That one pink-haired girl from Baka and Test. She does everything perfectly except for cook. And nearly killed the protag several times with her cooking.
And that makes her only all the more endearing because of her imperfection. Blah blah
Right.
blah.
Right.
What was her name?
I can't remember her name. I think it's like Mitsuki, but I'm not sure.
You said Baka and Test.
Baka and Test.
Mitsuki?
Pink-haired chick.
Mizuki.
Mizuki. Right.
The pink-haired one?
It's been a while since I've seen it. Yeah.
Oh god. What is this? Oh, DeviantArt, you beautiful bastard. What are those mermaid melody ass eyes? I'm sorry, like I don't mean to downplay people's art, but this is one of those. You're getting there. You're definitely getting there.
Are we there yet?
No.
Are we there yet? No. There yet? No. Give me the
No.
control so we can land.
Oh my god. So if we're gonna talk about Mary Sue's, there's one character that I'm gonna have to at least just put on blast right now.
Okay.
Is it Kirito? Please make it be Kirito.
We're gonna
No,
get
I
to
wasn't
Kirito in a
thinking
bit.
Kirito. I'm actually
Kiriyama.
thinking somebody
No,
immensely worse than
We're
Kirito.
getting to Kirito in a bit, I
Kiriyama.
promise.
We'll get to him. Rimuru from that time I was reincarnated as a slime.
Oh god.
Because it is hurting the progression of that show, how perfect that character is. And he might actually be considered an anti-Mary Sue because of the fact that he is simply a slime.
Well, no, because that's just a character trait. I don't think that necessarily makes him like an anti-Sue. It would require that it's an actual flaw, which I don't think that's a flaw. That's the premise of the show.
Right.
So
It's kind of a weird thing just because like supposedly he has no gender based upon that and he can make himself either.
Mm-hmm. Well, and in that case, he
But,
is
like-
the perfect waifu or husbando material for whatever the viewer prefers.
True. But yeah, it seems that it's affecting the show's watchability and likability for that matter. Because like no matter what, he always manages to save the day.
Mm-hmm.
He's tactically perfect. He is like strength perfect.
Yeah. Also, I think I know we talked about this before the podcast, but none of us have mentioned it, and it's kind of bothering me. There is actually a term for a male Mary Sue. There are a few different versions of it, but the version I've heard most, the version I'm most familiar with, is Gary Stu.
I was actually thinking that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know why. Like, it seems the most prevalent to me. Like, that's the one you knew. That's the one Orphan knew.
Well, it just sounds right.
It sounds right.
Well,
Gary Stu,
What
Mary
are some
Sue.
of the other? What are some of the other options?
The one that's deemed the most common, which just throws me the hell off, is Marty Sue. It just sounds wrong.
Sounds weird, dude.
It sounds so weird, but Marty Sue or Marty Stew is seen as the most common. Until last year, I had never heard that. And I only ever
Marty
heard it,
McFly?
like, I've only ever heard it as, like, this is the most common thing. And then they'll say, oh yeah, this is the most common thing. And I'm like, I've never heard it outside of someone saying, this is the most common way to say Mary Sue for a guy. People who actually use Mary Sue for a guy will either just say Mary Sue or Gary Stu. And I'm just like, I don't get it. I'm so confused.
As
anyway.
you should be, boss. As you should be.
Ugh. Anyway.
I think we're also forgetting the biggest Mary Sue character of all time from a certain Madoka box anime. Madaka box. Kurokami Madaka.
You're gonna have to expound on that because I don't know what that is.
Basically, she is the perfect person, perfect grades, fucking like she beats everyone at everything in like every single club in the school. She's fucking nuts. She's like the definition of a Mary Sue for the most part of the anime.
Let's see what
And
the
the manga.
Medaka Box wiki says about her.
She's got boba that rivals boba.
So what was the name of the specific person?
Kurokami Madaka.
Kurokami Medaka is the female protagonist of the series Medaka Box, a freshman of class 13. She was 98th and later 99th student council president of Hakoniwa Academy. I don't know why I said that weird. She is a childhood friend of Zenkichi Hitoyoshi, who she strong-arms into joining the student council at the start of the series. After becoming the head of the Kurokami group, Medaka also becomes the chairwoman of Hakoniwa Academy. And now I just have to say it weird every time because I can't not. She is the child... personality. Here we go. Medaka is an excellent academic student, placing first in the national test. Oh, Jesus Christ. We're starting off strong. We are starting strong. In addition, her academic achievements, she has excelled in various other areas such as calligraphy and sports and obtained seemingly inhuman results. However, she is somewhat lacking in practical knowledge, as no one expects her to have to need to understand the subject. That is so Mary Sue.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
She's
that
the
is
definition of Mary Sue.
That is the most Mary Sue thing I have heard since reading the original Mary Sue story.
It's really weird because the anime is actually good. That's the weird part.
Well, but I'm sure that's mostly because other characters take enough of a priority over her.
Yeah.
Well, because my whole thing is you could easily say that someone like Captain Jack Sparrow, just specifically in the first Pirates of the Caribbean film, Curse of the Black Pearl, he is kind of a Mary Sue. Everything always goes his way. And, like, he can do nothing wrong, and the fans adore him, and everyone in the movie is like, that guy, I just can't help but love him. But the thing is, he wasn't the main character. He was a side character. He was technically the mentor character, which is partly why he gets separated. He stops being the mentor. He's removed from the story from Will's portion of the story. So that's losing the mentor. And then becomes the mentor for Elizabeth while on the island, and then she loses him again. But that's what he is. He's the mentor character. But in all other aspects, he's technically a Mary Sue because he's just everything goes his way. But people loved him because he wasn't the main character. And I don't think anyone really acknowledges that. I feel like I've seen maybe a few YouTube videos that acknowledge that. But beyond that, like most people, I don't notice talking about that.
I feel like he has so many character flaws that's exactly why people love him. Because it's just like, god dang, he's lucky.
Well, but that's the thing
at the
is...
very beginning of the movie, the guy tells him, "You've no manner of luck at all," when he doesn't get a chance to break out of the prison.
Well, right, and I feel like that's the weird part about it, is that he does have, like, the devil's luck. It's just not always when, like, people think it is.
That's a good way to put it.
On top of that, there's that one scene where he completely loses his mind, and he's, like, talking to himself constantly. The damn peanut scene.
Oh, no, because that's why I said specifically in the first film. Because later on, he absolutely became a Mary Sue because they didn't know how to really write him. And so, like, everything that they wrote about him just made him more endearing. Like, and that's the thing with Mary Sues is usually you can give a Mary Sue a quote-unquote flaw, but it'll just be a way to secretly make the Mary Sue more endearing. So it's like
Like Goku.
Yeah.
Go-Go from what? Because that's actually a weirdly common...
Goku.
Oh, Goku. I'm like, Go-Go. Go-Go's a really common name. Yeah, Goku. I mean, like, yeah, he's... Goku's straight up a Mary Sue, but he's so goddamn lovable. It's like... God damn it.
I could say also that Golgo 13, that dude's a whatever as well.
Bagels...
He's perfect at everything he does.
Bagels asks, is there such thing as a reverse Mary Sue, like they are hyped up to be able to do so much, but just can't? I think of Aqua for this. Yes, actually. There is...
Aqua.
Sting and Rogue from Fairy Tail.
Where was that? So I
Sting.
think it's either going to be the...
Hercule Satan.
Oh, yeah. Hercule Satan is definitely one of them.
So that's either going to be a type of anti-Sue, just an extreme version of an anti-Sue, or a parody Sue. Let me take a look. An intentional played for laughs Mary Sue. Okay, so parody Sue is supposed to be OP.
Like Saitama.
Oh yeah, Saitama is a parody Sue.
Deliberately, he is parody, and he is beautiful and
Well,
great.
also he's not a Mary
him.
Sue. And
Can I speak up on
oh
Saitama?
yeah, go.
So, I feel like that's intentionally done because the whole storyline revolves around him being Mary Sue and at the top to the point of where he's bored and where he's looking for a challenge.
Okay, hang on. So
that would be his
love
character
him.
flaw, is that he can't find anyone to challenge.
okay,
because
so
he's
I
such
I
at the
don't
top.
want to step on his toes and bungle up what he says about Saitama. But I recommend that anyone who has not seen Nuxtaku's videos on Saitama, because, like I said before, Nuxtaku does videos on quote-unquote OP done right, and I would say that every quote-unquote OP done right video he's done is about someone who people might say is a Mary Sue, but isn't actually a Mary Sue, because they have legitimate flaws. Not flaws that make them more endearing, legitimate flaws. And he goes super in-depth in like 2 or 3 different videos on Saitama and other characters in the One Punch Man universe, showing that these are like legitimate flaws that these characters have. And I would say his videos on Saitama really break down why I personally wouldn't say that he's a Mary Sue, but a parody, like... And here's the thing, if there weren't Mary Sue tropes like the parody Sue, I would say that with more conviction, but because there is, like, precedent for stuff like that, it's hard to say, like, where the line is with this is definitely a Mary Sue, or this is definitely not a Mary Sue.
I
Like, that's just
feel
hard.
like the Mary Sue in that show is actually Genos.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not.
Genos can't win against a cardboard box half the time.
He can't, but his character, he's so endearing.
He is endearing, but I think that's
It's not about
just because you're endearing doesn't mean you're a Mary Sue.
Well, because
I mean,
everyone
true,
else
but
in the universe needs to also, like, because that's the thing. When they say untalented, for the anti-Sue, untalented, but a Mary Sue, still a Mary Sue by other means, such as being worshipped by everyone, and that means in the show. Like, not, like, people can love a character. Like, Loki is not a Mary Sue.
He's Mary Sued. Like, he's loved by everyone around him. That's like a lot of the plot for Saitama and Genos, is that Genos keeps getting all the credit for Saitama.
Well, he gets the credit, but I don't think he's necessarily being worshipped by everyone else. There are quite a few characters in the show that are like, hey, he's pretty good. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, whatever.
I think I mean more of like the people.
Oh, the people.
Not like
Okay.
the heroes.
No, I see what you're
Because
saying.
he manages to get to S class at the very beginning.
Right.
And he has fangirls like right off the bat.
Yeah.
Because they talk about like how they get fan mail. And all the fan mail went to Genos.
Right, and his enormous Robodong. I'm sorry, I had
That's
to.
Well,
Oh
he ain't
god, it's
wrong.
a tripod.
Anyway, I think now's a good time as any to bring up Kirito because.
Oh, speaking
Oh,
of
wait, wait,
giant
wait, wait.
robot
Oh
dongs,
yeah.
Before we talk about
Senpai is
Kirito, can I just
imagining
mention
Kirito's giant robot dong. I think
before
I'm gonna
we
have to pull
talk?
out my extra large knife for this one.
Oh no.
God damn it! Wait, just before we go into Kirito, can I
Yeah.
just mention Sailor Moon?
Oh,
Oh,
Not
God.
in the normal way, but because she somehow manages to show perfect kindness and perfect forgiveness, and that's not humanly fucking possible.
I don't want to get hostile with anybody, but that is one of those hills that I will die on. That no, Sailor Moon is not one of those people. She is bad at her grades. She does not have a good relationship with her parents. She does not have a good relationship with her brother. She has a weird on and off relationship with her boyfriend. She fights with her own teammates. She fights with her enemies. She fights with her own weight.
when she's not being a dummy though.
Well, yes, but like she faces a lot of things both in the manga and in the show that real girls her age face. Body image issues. She feels like she's too fat, that she's not pretty enough. She has a lot of self-doubt. She's a whiner. She's emotionally unstable. She's got a lot of things wrong with her. Endearing, yes. Does she always succeed? Yes. But if you're going to be like, ooh, always success equals being a Mary Sue, then I get to bring Ichigo Kurosaki back into this discussion.
I was going to say.
Can I bring somebody from Sailor Moon in though? Can I do that?
Amy? Is it Amy
Yes.
Mizuno?
Yes, she is the Mary Sue of that show.
She is the Mary Sue of that show, but she's relegated as a side character. And
yes, and that's why it works. Because that show is...
Also, she has the lamest move out of all of them. She's the only one that does not ever get her own romance plot in the manga. So it's like she does get left out. She's like everybody's like least favorite Sailor Scout. They're like, eh. I mean, she's not hot like Sailor Mars, and she's not buff like Sailor Venus, and she's not, she's not lesbian like Sailor Uranus. And who's the other one? Neptune. And so I was like, yeah, her too. I mean, she's not as bad as Sailor Mini Moon, but like you're right. Amy Mizuno is very much a Mary Sue in that she literally does nothing wrong the whole show.
But
She was my favorite Sailor Scout.
I knew this would be a good topic to bring up for this. I knew it.
She was my favorite Sailor Scout pre-Pro Jared. Post-Pro Jared, I'm gonna have to give it away.
You know what? I have to agree with you on that. I completely forgot about the Pro Jared.
I don't. I know that I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember, so I'm just gonna move on.
He posted a picture of himself.
I am emotionally scarred by that. I am emotionally scarred by that image. That's Boba. That's not
Pro
even
Jared
Boba.
posted a picture of himself in a Sailor Mercury cosplay, in a Sailor Mercury pose. And that's an image.
Totally not comfortable. Not comfortable, not comfortable, not comfortable.
Well, okay then. Man, I'm gonna hide the browser screen for a second because I need to mess around with some settings, but I guess we have to figure out what our limit is for like being OP but still being still not being a Mary Sue. Because if we're gonna be counting people like Sailor Moon as a Mary Sue, even though she does have like not just flaws that make her more endearing, but flaws that are legitimate flaws that she has to contend with, then I don't know. I think that leads into too many characters being considered a Mary Sue. And it kind of loses meaning a little bit, you know?
Well, I think OP is the precursor. I think OP is the gateway drug to Mary Sue.
That's a good way to put it.
That if you are, if you are OP, you run the risk. I guess it places you at higher risk for Mary Sue. But, diet and exercise and everything can keep your OP levels low enough that you don't actually you don't actually have Mary
Right.
Sue, and you don't
I-
have to like medicate for it or anything.
I also feel like it depends on the anime too, because like if you go to Tenchi Muyo, the obvious Mary Sue in there is Sasami.
Sasami?
Sasami.
Ayeka's little sister. Blue hair, pigtails. She
No,
cooked.
I totally blanked out on all of that, so I clarified Sasami and then realized that my brain didn't process any of the rest of what you said either. So I'm gonna need you to
Sasami-
give me that whole
okay.
thing again.
So it also depends on the anime as to what exactly defines a Mary Sue. Like in Tenchi Muyo, it is obviously Sasami.
Well, is there like a Mary Sue character that's like a dere that's like part of the harem? That's like not a yandere or a tsundere or a himadere, but that's like the cute one that is always sweet and nice all the time.
I would think that would be the Dere Dere.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. The Dairy, the girly girl.
So I would think that Sasami would be more of a dere than a Mary Sue,
She
just
fits
because she fits, because her existence is only as it contributes to the harem.
Yes, but at the same time, she's perfect at everything she does. She cooks, she cleans, she's good at domestic chores, while the others are failures in that aspect, and their personalities aren't that great.
And that's the thing. Like, I think one of the defining things is that two things will happen. The logic of and you're right, it does depend on the anime because the logic of the anime world also plays an effect. Because if the logic of the anime world, I just brain farted again. Good lord. If the logic of the anime world says that a certain thing is normal, like being able to punch a hole through like the Great Wall of China with your pinky is like a thing that people can do if they train hard enough, then being able to do that is not impressive. It's not like being too perfect. Whereas if you're watching a martial arts anime and it's a bunch of MMA and just normal like fighting and boxing and kicking and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden someone punches a hole through 3 buildings, and it's like they just pop in, they punch a hole through 3 buildings, and they just murder everyone in competition, and they're just the nicest guy outside of that. And it's just like, okay, that's starting to be a Mary Sue because no one else is doing that. They're doing everything better than that. And that's one of the things is because Mary Sue started in fanfic and now it's getting to other places. So a lot of times, some signifiers of a Mary Sue, some early signifiers that someone might be a Mary Sue is that they're better than pre-established characters at what they do.
What about Hikari from Digimon?
It's been too long since I've seen Digimon, but come to think of it, I think you might be right. Because like she
Also,
she did
Takenu
nothing
as
wrong.
well. Yeah.
Let me see.
Takeru was also a bit of one and two. Yeah.
Oh, holy cow! I have found the exact type of Mary Sue that Kirito is.
Which one?
He is, forgive the expression, a black hole Sue. Much like a black hole, this is a Mary Sue who sucks in the plot and characters to her. Characters will behave outside their personalities, logic will be defied, and rules will be broken for her sake.
And that's usually like the definition of what most Mary Sues are, or what most Mary Sues are said to be, I guess is the way to put that. But here's the thing for Kirito, is that there were ways that they could have abated his Gary Stewness. There were ways that I think they tried to abate him seeming too OP. They tried to do that. But due to a lot of studio interference and the fact that they got extra episodes to flesh characters out and to flesh the story out, but the studio said no, you can't. You can't extend the story you're on right now. You have to do a different arc. You have to keep this season as written. And it's like that. I think really messed with their ability to do these things. So I feel so bad. But I do have to agree that he's a straight up Mary Sue, and this is why I wanted to mess around with settings on Discord earlier, because I wanted to make sure that y'all could hear this. So have y'all seen the abridged SAO?
Yes.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I would like to say I do think that with part of Kirito's Mary Sue-ness is Asuna. I think that she attributes and exacerbates his Mary Sue-ness in that she too is a Mary Sue, and they are so perfect, and they deserve each other in this amazing, perfect way that just makes them even more dislikable as they are, despite the fact that Asuna is actually a likable character. She also is a Mary Sue.
Well, yeah, and a lot of the build-up, a lot of the flaws they moved past given time. Like, they had flaws, and they took time to work out those flaws, and this and that. The problem is that all of that character development happened in a time skip. A 2-year fucking time skip where their flaws are just gone now.
Is this Fresh Out of Mercy?
What?
The scene you're about to play, is this the Fresh Out of Mercy scene?
I think so, yeah.
Yes. I have a t-shirt that says Fresh Out of Mercy.
Okay, but so before I play this scene, for anyone who hasn't seen it, one of the main issues that I'm about to bring up makes this scene so much better, which is the fact that one of the traits of a Mary Sue, one of the things that could lead you to determine that this is likely a Mary Sue character is that it is a wish fulfillment or a self-insert character. And Kirito is in the first few scenes, which were really, really well animated, really, really well edited and timed in the first episode of SAO, where you very easily see that Kirito is a nerd. He's a super nerd, and you can tell that he's so nerdy and doesn't really talk to people and this and that. But then when he gets into the game, we're never put into a situation where he doesn't know how to talk to people. The closest we get is when he just doesn't form a party during the raid, the battle for the first raid boss. And it's like that, and that's the problem, is they wanted him to be the nerdy character. They wanted him to be the super nerd, but they didn't do it right. And SAO Abridged did it so well. They found what was intended, and then they just made it apparent in the Abridged series. Yeah. And I think this scene is one of the best scenes that typifies that. And the other scene
I have power.
The other scene I want to show is, if I can find it, is when he first meets Celica. But let me go ahead and play this.
And devourer of souls. Quickly, child, we must spirit away.
Wait, hang on. First of all, can y'all hear that?
Take that, noobs. They'd be like, no.
So, hello, cheeses.
Cheeses?
We got a cheeses and a bagels, and we got a sabers and
Jesus Christ.
Hello. And we got a king style. Hello, everybody. So, before we move on, Saber, you got a request, because
oh no.
Apparently everybody liked your singing.
Oh, thank you. I do that sometimes. I see.
Oh, and I just noticed, sorry, Bagels. vidIQ is an extension that I use to track things on YouTube. Anyway, so I know everyone. So first of all, could y'all hear the audio?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna restart the scene because I didn't realize how late in the scene that was. So we're just gonna watch this, just a few minutes long, but I think you'll get why I really, really enjoy this and why Lady Saber got so fucking excited.
I just want to go home.
Wait, hold on, Silica. Do mine eyes deceive me? 'Tis the fabled word tree of Gamagorath, font of human knowledge and devourer of souls. Quickly, child, we must spirit away before it— Oh my god, will you just come out already?
Ah, your detection skill must be quite high for you to have known I was here.
Rosalia? Oh my god, how are you? Oh god, wow, that's enough of that. Jesus, how do you put up that act all day?
Oh, so you saw through me, did you? You're quite a clever boy. Getting stuck in this game was probably the best thing to ever happen to you. But there's one thing this game will never let you hide. The one thing that's haunted you your whole life that you can never escape. You sound like a girl.
What? No, I don't sound like a girl. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, it looks like my work here is done. I do so enjoy our chats, but I really must be off. We'll be taking the Numa flower now, if you don't mind.
Really? Little old you is going to take it from us? That'd be a neat trick.
Indeed, but a magician is nothing without her lovely assistant.
He's just gone total mad lad.
I do, I love
Total
when he
insanity.
snaps.
Kirito, there's so many of them. I'll back you up.
Ah, that's adorable. You think they're a threat? Well, you just sit tight. Show's about to start. Careful, though. The first 3 rows are a splash zone.
What do you mean by that?
Boss, a thought occurs. This guy thought he was going up against Laughing Coffin, but he still just brought himself and a small child. You sure we want to mess with this guy?
Please, the boys all talk. And now that I've broken him, he's not even that anymore. He's nothing but a gibbering mess, grasping at straws.
Ooh, another one of your famous theories. Tell you what, I'll give you the first shot. See how that goes.
Boss, I think this might be a trap.
Enough! You're all level 45, and there's 7 of you. I think you've got this. Now kill him!
Oh no! I knew it! Rosalia really got inside his head! He's not even fighting back! Well, I guess it's up to me to save him. Wait, what?
Man, you guys are out of shape. Really ought to do some cardio.
What are you idiots doing? Quit screwing around and finish him!
I don't understand. We threw everything we had at him. How is he still standing?
How? Well, it's quite simple, really. You see, girly, you may think you got me all figured out, but there's one thing you didn't account for. My numbers are bigger than yours. Funny thing, really. Get to a high enough level and you're basically untouchable. My wounds heal faster than you can make them. We could do this all day and you would not be any closer to beating me. Not that it wouldn't be fun. But I've got good news. You see, there's no need to wonder where your god is. Because he's right here. And he's fresh out of mercy.
The guy crying.
Well, way to prove my point, kid! Lording your stats over them like some kind of god! Your strength is nothing but an illusion to cover!
I'm getting real tired of your first year psych student bullshit.
Enjoy this while you can. It's the deepest you'll ever be in a woman.
Yeah, well, you're dead, so... Damn it!
Yeah, well, you're dead, so damn it. And that's so 2 flaws that they showed there. The flaw of his ego and the flaw of him being a nerd, and she legitimately got to him with that. And that's the thing, like, they definitely showed that he was a nerd. And that removes his Mary Sue-ness because it's so fucking hilarious. It is so funny, but I also think that's what the original writers wanted for Kirito, and then either didn't know how to write it, or weren't able to write it due to time constraints.
No, I think the Abridged did a really good version of making Kirito a lot more, Kirito and Asuna both, a lot more human, with him being egomaniacal, with him being socially inept. I'm broken, please fix me. He's what's the other word? He's not sadistic.
The following is a
He's
non-profit fan-based
Sorry,
parody,
hang on.
sort of
Pause. Sorry.
what do you call it? Vindictive. He's vindictive.
No, it's still not paused.
Oh my god.
What are you
Sorry,
doing?
you-
Come on. You can do this. You can do it, Josh. Come on.
Sorry, YouTube was being crazy. I'm just gonna... Thanks, Arnold. You're the best.
No problemo.
No.
No.
No. Okay.
You got it right here. And he's fresh out of mercy.
Also, I just remembered one of the biggest Gary Stu's of all time
Is it
in
not
the
Sue?
nerd world.
'Cause-
No. It's actually Wesley Crusher from Star Trek.
Oh
Next
God,
Generation.
yes.
Oh, he hurts me.
No, see, that's the thing. That's what's so hilarious is that Mary Sue started out as an example of bad fan fiction, and the example that they used was Star Trek. And here's the thing: they, if I'm remembering correctly, they did it before the Next Generation was a thing.
Oh yeah, it wasn't.
And
Wasn't
so
Mary Sue like an ensign or something?
Lieutenant Mary Sue,
yeah.
the tender age of 15, the smartest, the smartest person to ever graduate from Starfleet Academy. Also half Vulcan, and according to Spock, her logic is flawless. Do you want me to just read the original Mary Sue story?
Please no.
It's short. It's very short.
Please no.
I kind of want to now.
Please no.
Have you ever heard it before?
Senpai no means no.
Oh. Well, oh my god. To quote Sensei Lawrence, well, yeah, obviously no means no when things get physical.
No means no.
But anyway, yeah, so the other flaw that they added, which is another thing that, here's the thing. When I watched it originally, these are the impressions I got of Kirito until, I watched it without the rose-tinted glasses, and I realized Kirito wasn't as well written as I thought. Because
Hashtag Boba too.
Well, because my brain filled in all of the things that the Abridged series actually put into their thing. So I just want to play one more scene because do you remember Sachi from SAO?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet merciful Buddha.
Sweet merciful Buddha, what the fuck? But no, that was from the Abridged series. But Boba and Orphan, do you remember Sachi from SAO?
Yes.
She was only in one episode, so it's understandable.
I didn't watch that many episodes.
Okay.
She's in episode 2 or 3. I think it's 3.
I think it's 3.
But I just simply don't remember her.
Okay. Well, so very, very briefly, for one episode, Kirito joins a guild, and this is to explain why he's a loner, basically. He joins a guild, and basically everyone in the guild, because people are stupid, everyone except for Kirito is stupid, but they don't listen to Kirito. Because who would listen to the Mary Sue who was always correct about things? I'm sorry. But anyway, so long story short, the entire guild dies. And one person in the guild that he had gotten very close to was Sachi. Fast forward to the Christmas event, and Kirito actually finds that Sachi left him a note, and he listens to this like goodbye note or whatever, and gets super emotional, and that understandably would affect him from there on. And my brain kind of filled in that affected him and affected his actions, but it wasn't obvious. It was never brought up again. So it's completely understandable why people would just forget that she was there. But this is the scene where he meets Celica. And I just want to show that because it's another thing that I just really enjoy what they did to pull it back from being a Mary Sue, to take what is obviously an OP character, but make him not a Sue.
Alright, well, I didn't mean a literal second, but you couldn't know that. Oh my goodness. Pina! Are you evolving? Yes, Pina! Evolve into a beautiful dragon and we'll fly through the night to freedom!
They're playing the Lavender Town theme in the background?
Yes, it was.
Are you unharmed, my lady?
What?
I said, could you stop staring at me? It's creepy!
I forgot the intro was right there. I'm sorry, that line just gets me every time. Stop staring at me, it's creepy.
The abridged series also has the Kirito is always right foundation.
Oh god, yes. Yes.
When they ask for donations.
But the way they sell those
I
shirts
can
on
see
their
you got
website.
your own thing going on here. Don't want to intrude. I'll just buy myself a spot that isn't full of crying children. Oh, look, there's one now.
Are you gonna ask me what's wrong?
Yeah, I'm not pulling the pin on that grenade.
This isn't your fault.
What's wrong, little girl?
Well, I guess it all started when I was born. My mom was a bit of a drinker. But sober, that was just not in the cards.
So, literally, when they never mention Sachi again in the original anime. They don't mention her ever again, even though, like, when you look at it, you feel like she's probably a motivator in a lot of situations. But in the abridged series, literally next episode, just the next fucking episode, they're like, oh yeah, he's fucking traumatized. So that's how you make it not a Mary Sue.
And even later on in the series, Asuna does something and he says, Sachi, stay here, or Sachi, get down. And she kind of, what?
Oh no, that was with Liz when they were fighting the Crystal Dragon.
But yes, he calls her Sachi.
Yes. And like they every now and again they pull it back when he's doing something that's vaguely less badass, like that's more panicky. Like they'll have him mention Sachi. Like when he's not comfortable, they'll have him mention Sachi, the first and most major trauma that he experienced.
Well, let's just hope he never decides to play Corpse Party.
Oh no. So anyway, I just brought that up because there's some really, really good examples of how to fix Mary Sues. If you're a writer and you're writing, you're like, I think I might have accidentally made a Mary Sue. That's a real, like, just watch that whole show. One, because it's hilarious, and two, because it's a really good way to make it not a Mary Sue. But anyway,
because for the record, Mary Sue's might be cool for about 10 minutes. But if there's no depth and you can't identify with them, they go from being your favorite character to being the character that grates on you the most very quickly.
Mm-hmm. So I want to take a moment to acknowledge the best Mary Sue of all time, the only Mary Sue that will always be a good character. And that is the guy.
The guy.
The guy.
The guy.
Hang on.
You don't mean Naruto guy.
No. The guy.
The guy?
The guy.
The guy.
Annie, hey.
So,
That
have you
looks
seen
like
Spy
Elijah
Kids
Wood.
3D? It is Elijah Wood, by the way. Yeah, so that's Elijah Wood playing the guy in Spy Kids 3D, which was filmed here in my hometown by a nut job who I have met an entire time of once, and I will say right now, he's intense. Anyway, but yeah, so there's this whole mythos in the film where they're like, oh, is that the Junie, you must be the guy. And there's this legend of the guy, the perfect player, who's built up this whole time. And they think it's Junie, they think it's Junie. And then suddenly the guy shows up. He's like level 99, the biggest level that you can be. He is absolutely everything that anyone would ever want. He is the guy. And then he walks into a room and dies.
Clearly, he wasn't the guy.
No, but see, that's the thing. It's like, that trap, I'm pretty sure, would have killed absolutely any of them. It would have killed any... It was designed to kill any player that entered that section, no matter what their level was. And so I think that he's technically a Mary Sue only because there's no reason for him not to be. And the only thing that could kill him is the thing that kills everyone. And the only reason that he is the best Mary Sue to me is because he's on screen for like 30 seconds, is immediately adored by everyone, and then gets killed off. In the most Mary Sue death possible. Because, like, he walks in, he gets zapped, and then you just see his level just go from 99 all the way to 0. And then he's like, oh, and then dies. It's so great. It's so stupid, and I love it. Like, those films have no business being as funny as they are. They have no business, but they do it anyway.
Guys, when you die in the video game, die for real. You die for real.
In another few hours, the sun will rise.
Thanks, Tristan. In another few hours, the sun will rise.
What does that even mean?
Die when
I
we're
don't
killed.
know. I actually said that. So I started in an improv troupe. And we meet on Tuesday evenings to do practice. And at one point, we were just waiting for other people to get there so we could do more of our exercises. And we were standing outside. The sun was setting, and I just looked at the guy. His name is Kevin. I looked at Kevin and I said, "In a few more hours, the sun will rise," because I knew he did not know the reference. And I just wanted to say it to see how he'd react, and he just looked me dead in the eye and said, you know, you're not wrong, but shut up. So anyway, did we want to bring up any other Mary Sues, or do we want to end this for the evening?
I just want to spat out about Wesley Crusher again.
Oh, right. We
Wesley
didn't get
Crusher
too
can
much
go suck
into...
a pig.
He was very much a Mary Sue, and that made him very dislikable. The fact
Yes.
that a teenager, he was what, at the beginning of the series, 14, 15, and that he knew more about the engineering department than Geordie LaForge did. It's like, shut up, ugly little white boy. Go sit down.
Shut up,
Where's
Wesley.
your mom? Shut up, Wesley.
The last
No,
thing we need right now,
Natsu,
Wesley, is your
Natsu
garbage.
Dragnail's a Mary
Go
Sue.
drown yourself in a fire.
Well, and
Ruby Rose is
the
a
other,
Mary Sue.
the thing that I really enjoy is the fact that Will Wheaton, the guy who plays Wesley Crusher, is, at least to me, just as unlikable as Wesley Crusher.
Oh, I have never heard anyone ever say that they had a positive interaction with Will Wheaton. Ever once. Like, even Sheldon Cooper has not had a positive interaction with Will Wheaton.
So, there's a nearly 4-minute cut of Shut Up, Wesley. Do we want to listen to it?
Yes. It will help. Drive
Okay,
that
King Style?
asshole out of my head.
No, Luke and Darth Vader were not Mary Sues. Okay, well,
No, wait,
Anakin...
man, Luke...
Anakin in the prequel trilogy, sure. Darth Vader, not quite. He was a much more flawed character by then. But Anakin, in his younger years, definitely a Mary Sue. Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, Luke is definitely not a Mary Sue. He loses fights. He gets his arm chopped off. His own mentor gets killed right in front of him, and he can't do anything about it. And then in Return of the Jedi, he starts succumbing to the dark side when he's having that last fight with Darth Vader, and when he gets all angry and starts hacking, and you're like, oh. Oh.
Well, and here's the thing: when you first meet Luke, like he's cocky,
and whiny.
he's cocky and whiny, and he's like, we could buy our own ship for that, and I'll pilot it, stuff like that. And then he gets into the ship, and immediately he's like, what's that? What's that? Well, what's going on? Why don't you just jump to hyperspace? And he's like, this ain't like dusting crops, boy. Like, immediately shut down. Like, immediately, you don't know what you're talking about. Sit down.
Yeah.
And, like, he's immediately put in his place. So by the time he gets to the point where he does save the day, it's only because he almost doesn't. Because think about it. People shot and missed at that really hard-to-hit thing at the ventilation shaft. And he has to trust in the weird voice he's hearing in his head and turn off the computer that both he and the other people around him are all determined. They're all determined that is the best way to do it, but he is learning to believe in the Force, so that is part of his character arc. So it's like, oh, he's a Mary Sue because he does that. No, the only reason that he succeeded was because he trusted in other people and he trusted in the Force. Like, the whole point of that first film was he didn't know what he was talking about, and he needed to realize that if he listened to other people, he could be better than he was. That is the entire point. Whereas Rey gets onto the Millennium Falcon, which she says, well, it's just a piece of junk, and then flies it perfectly on her first try, which, to be fair, is a Force user skill, so I'm not complaining about that per se. But once she gets in the ship with Han Solo and they get into hyperspace, well, it's her that fixes the thing, instead of Han Solo going, and he just looks at her dumbfounded like, oh, you're a genius.
Well, that, and she holds her own in her first lightsaber battle ever. The first time she tries to use a Jedi mind trick, it works.
Even though she's only ever heard stories and was just today told, oh yeah, the Force is totally real. Even though Luke, so the first time Luke uses the Force technically was when he was training with the training sphere, and it was shooting, and he was failing. He tried and he failed, and eventually he got it. And Han Solo's immediate reaction was, I call that luck. And Luke was like, no, I could feel something. Han Solo did the Force? What? I
have a feeling Han Solo did a lot of things.
I'm pretty sure Han Solo was a if we're gonna get into fan theories, I do think Han Solo was a Force sensitive. But obviously with his skeptical, opportunistic nature, it didn't really matter much, because a lot of when you look at the Force sensitives in the canon lore, and I'm gonna stop right after this because I realize I will get into an hour to 2 hour long talk about this when we get on to Star Wars, but all of the traits that we see for Force sensitives who are not hang on. Mine just blanked again. Jesus Christ. All the Force sensitives who are in canon seem to have a lot of the same traits as Han Solo. There's also the fact that he's very lucky. And according to Obi-Wan, there's no such thing as luck. In this universe, luck does not exist. It can only be the Force. It can only ever be the will of the Force, which means Han Solo can't be lucky. So anyway, we're gonna end on this 4-minute shut up, Wesley, just so we get our rocks off to that, and then we'll close up the stream.
Shut up, Wesley.
Damn it. Oh man.
Also,
Sir,
Natsu
I know this may
Mary
finish
Sue,
me as
and
an
Ruby
acting
Rose is
ensign,
Mary Sue.
but shut up,
yeah,
Wesley.
Absolutely.
Lieutenant, pick a good security team and let me know what he does.
Aye, sir. Shut up, Wesley.
Doctor.
And since I am finished here, sir, may I point out that...
Shut up, Wesley.
That everything that I have said would have been listened to if it came from an adult officer. Request permission to return to my quarters, sir.
Agreed. Doctor, go with him.
You're putting me off the bridge.
Oh, is she mad?
I'm asking
Dr.
you to keep
Crunch.
an eye on your son.
I don't care what he did. Don't
Not
you
if I
yell
have
at
a
my
choice.
little
Shut up,
marshmallow.
Wesley.
Oh, this is a remix of the episode, not a compilation. I want the compilation.
You
Yeah.
got a request for the ending.
End with a unison group. Shut up, Wesley.
Shut up, Wesley.
Fair enough. You know what? Oh, here we go. Here's a remix.
Shut up, Wesley?
Shut up, Wesley.
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 We should have ended this
Shut
episode
up,
with
Wesley.
this. We should have ended this. We should end this episode with this as the mix for to end the episode.
I don't know. I guess we'll just acknowledge that Mary Sue's can be really annoying. They make for really fun conversation. And I think if we were ever to meet Will Wheaton, we would only ever have one reaction. You ready, everyone?
Mm-hmm.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Shut up, Wesley.
Wesley.
All right. Thanks for coming, guys. Please, if you have not already joined our Discord server, in the doobly-doo below, you should find a link to our Discord server. We are very welcoming to everyone there. We are building a great community, and that is where our after party, after podcast talks will be. So,
Join the party.
I
Join
bid
the
you all
party. Join the
adieu.
party.
Everyone else, say goodbye as well.
All right. Night, hunters.
Bye-bye!
Peace.